Some days it feels obvious. Either the Chargers wake up now or this season slips through their fingers all over again. Today we need to talk about big changes on offense, a controversial roster decision, a hidden break in the schedule, and a very direct message to the coaching staff. All of that mixed with injuries, constant heat on Justin Herbert, and a chance to turn things around that simply cannot be wasted. You won't believe what we've got today. So sit down, drop a like, and let's get straight into it. Because a big name inside this locker room is on very thin ice right now. There are things that really weigh on a locker room, and the situation in the trenches is exactly that kind of wound that does not heal fast. When we talk about a big name under pressure, it is not just skill, guys. There is a decision on the offensive line that can completely change how this offense breathes from here on out. The unit that was supposed to protect your franchise quarterback has become a league-wide joke, with PFF ranking the Chargers' offensive line as the worst in the NFL. That is not a salty fan overreacting. That is cold data, while Herbert takes more hits than almost anyone in 2025. This started before the season even really began, when Rashawn Slater went down with a serious patellar injury. Done for the year, and Jim Harbaugh forced to rip up the plan. Joe Alt moved to the left side, Trey Pipkins plugged in on the right, patch over patch. Just when it looked like that might finally settle, another punch in the mouth. Alt hurts that right ankle, tries to fight back, but now he is officially out for the season as well. In that chaos, the Chargers tried to be aggressive and brought in Trevor Penning at the trade deadline. But on the field, his first start at left tackle was a disaster. Rock bottom PFF grade, pressure pouring in, Jacksonville's defense having fun, a blowout on the scoreboard, Herbert getting hit over and over, and the fan base asking one simple question: why is he still out there? This is where things finally start to look a little brighter. Harbaugh actually listens to the roar from the stands and decides to give Jamari Salyer the chance he has deserved for a long time on Herbert's blind side. When Slater went down back in 2022, Salyer was the one who stepped in, started 14 games, and put up solid tape, especially in pass protection. More recently, when he went back to left tackle against the Titans, he was the best offensive lineman on the Chargers that day, leading the way in pass blocking and doing a good job in the run game. This move does not fix everything or turn the line into an elite unit overnight, but it changes the level of trust. Herbert finally gets a more stable presence on his blind side, and the locker room gets a clear message. Draft status, first-round hype, or off-season excitement do not guarantee anything with Harbaugh. If you want to play, you had better perform. There are injuries that hurt more than others, and Omarion Hampton's absence is exactly that kind of pain the locker room keeps feeling week after week. Every game, the Bolt fam wonders if this is finally going to be the moment he comes back, but the truth is, his body still is not ready. That stings, because before the injury, he was already flashing legit RB1 upside. The kind of back who can change the identity of an offense. Hampton started the year splitting snaps with Najee Harris, but the veteran's serious injury opened the door for the rookie to take over. He embraced that opportunity. He hit the hole with authority, caught checkdowns, created yards after contact, and grew at exactly the pace this staff loves: production, consistency, and physicality. The fractured ankle in Week 5 shut everything down and left a void in this offense that made fans feel like the group had taken a step backward. That is where one of the coolest surprises of this season comes in. Kamani Vidal. Vidal took over the backfield without fear, ran with burst, found lanes even behind a banged-up offensive line, and carried this offense at times when the passing game just was not clicking. With over 400 rushing yards and 6 starts, he did something rare, turned a desperate situation into a real opportunity. Even so, Hampton's looming return changes everything. The offense gains depth, versatility, and, most importantly, gets back that element of unpredictability that keeps defensive coordinators up at night. He is not playing against the Raiders, but if everything stays on track, this should be the last game he misses. Facing Las Vegas in this phase of the season is almost a gift. Geno Smith leading the league in interceptions, an offense stuck in the mud, a defense that does not consistently get after the quarterback. This is not a matchup that should get out of hand. The main point is simple. When Hampton is back, the Chargers stop patching holes and finally have a real plan. A plan built around two young, complementary backs who can take pressure off Herbert and change the tempo of a game. That might be the detail that turns an up-and-down campaign into the start of an unexpected playoff run. Some weeks it feels like everything is falling apart. And then out of nowhere, a bit of information drops that changes the entire mood in the building. For the Chargers, that bit of light came from a place nobody was really looking at: Philadelphia. While the focus stays on handling business against the Raiders, a piece of news starts circling that could alter the picture for the next Monday Night Football. Lane Johnson, the Eagles' right tackle and one of the best in the league at his position, is dealing with a serious foot injury. He already missed the game against Detroit, missed the matchup with Dallas, and now he is not playing against Chicago either. Until there, nothing that would really shake things up for the Chargers, right? Wrong. Insider Ian Rappaport dropped an update that hits Los Angeles directly. Johnson is targeting a return on December 14th against the Raiders. All signs point to him not being available for Monday Night Football against Harbaugh's team. That changes more than people think. The Eagles' offensive line, which for years was the gold standard of stability, has turned into a recurring problem in 2025. They have rotated multiple players on the right side. The interior has slipped. Cam Jurgens had to be rushed back. And they are still having trouble replacing a right guard who, ironically, is now in Los Angeles, trying to recapture his old form. Recent tape tells the story: constant pressure, breakdowns in protection, and a run game that does not dominate the way it used to. While that is going wrong over there, the Chargers are coming off one of the most frustrating defensive performances of the year. Virtually no pressure on Trevor Lawrence, just a handful of hurries, and the Jaguars running the ball however they want it. It was the type of game that exposes every hole in the system and sets off every alarm. It is like the season itself is offering a real chance to bounce back. We are still days away from any official confirmation. Injuries are unpredictable, and Philly will have extra rest before this matchup. But if the Chargers really do catch an offense led by Jalen Hurts without Lane Johnson on the field, everything shifts. The defense gets a real chance to pressure, to force mistakes, to balance the game and finally put Herbert in position to win without having to carry the entire franchise on his back. And that is not even the most frustrating storyline of the day. Some things hurt a fan base in a different way, because it is not just about the scoreboard, it is about stubbornness. That is exactly how the Bolt fam feels right now when the subject is Tyler Conklin. There is a big difference between a move that did not work out and insisting on it so hard that it starts to hurt the team on the field. That is where Jim Harbaugh and his staff need to look in the mirror, fast. Conklin arrived with hype and off-season buzz, that missing piece label to give this offense more versatility. In reality, nearly everything he has touched has turned into a problem. Poorly executed routes, weak chemistry with Herbert, key plays dying in the wrong hands. That play where he runs into Ladd McConkey's route and creates an interception is the kind of thing that destroys trust. On a crucial 4th and short, the ball goes right through his hands, off the helmet, and to the turf. Those are the moments that change games and the feel inside the locker room. What makes it worse is that the Chargers do have options. Oronda Gadsden, too, is earning more snaps, flashing real talent as a dynamic target, making catches in tight windows and offering the mismatch this offense needs. Will Dissly, when healthy and on the field, brings something this team is starving for right now: reliable blocking. Even without big numbers, he does the dirty work, holds up against strong edge rushers, and helps stabilize an offensive line that already lives on the edge. Even so, week after week, Conklin keeps getting snaps that just do not make sense anymore. His blocking grades are poor, the key plays do not fall his way, and the patience of the fan base is running out. The question echoing louder and louder is simple and brutal. How long is the front office's excitement from back in March going to speak louder than what the tape is screaming in November? It is time for Harbaugh to make a cold decision. Admit that this bet did not work, cut Conklin's role down to a minimum, and build the tight end rotation around Gadsden and Disley. This is not about front office pride. It is about protecting Herbert, unlocking the offense, and showing the entire roster that in Los Angeles, playing time is earned, not gifted. If this staff keeps ignoring what is right in front of them, it is not just the season that slips away, it is the Bolt fam's belief that this new era actually learned from the mistakes of the past. So take a deep breath, Bolt fam, because if there is one thing that became clear today, it is that there is still a path to flip this season around. The change on the offensive line brings real hope that we might finally watch Herbert play without taking a beating every single snap. The anticipation of Hampton's return fires up the vision of a more balanced backfield. The possible absence of Lane Johnson opens a rare window for this defense to regain its swagger, and the need to end this stubbornness with Conklin is an urgent message to the entire staff. Now, I want to hear from you. Which one of these 4 stories hit you the hardest today? Drop your take in the comments. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you have not already. And let's keep this channel growing together.